Hello, hello! I've been waiting for you. I'm Taren S, an old conjuring witch with over 40 years experience in the community. And I'm brewing some magic today. You want to brew some with me? Come on in! Hello, hello! Crossroads witches and other interesting magical beings. How is everyone out there today? First thing I want to do is say, of course, thank you to all of you folks who've hit subscribe, who've hit like, and who've left comments. Thank you, thank you. It has been amazing for the past couple of years now, just watching the channel grow, all the different witches, magical practitioners who are leaning into my channel. Much gratitude. And that's what today's tea is about. Much gratitude. One of my favorites is to do a good tea time. I love tea time. I love high tea. I love ritual tea. And today I'm going to show you a self-care me tea and how important these moments are and what do we do with them. The first thing you can see is that I've set up a little space for my tea. Having tea is a ritual. Using herbs and connecting to them on a magical level can give you a connection closer to yourself, closer to divinity, closer to Mother Nature, closer to the entities and deities in which favor these herbs. It goes on, is what I'm saying. And I also want y'all to understand when we talk about herbal magic, a lot of times we think about folkloric, cunning folk, or we think about, our powwow, Appalachian folks as well. And we always, go back into the pagan realm. Please be aware that we have the use of herbs and botaniomancy. I think I said that one right, using herbs and divination. But we have examples of that in the Bible as well, all right? Moses in his burning bush, just saying. What about Rachel and her use of mandrake root for fertility issues? And then my favorite is Jacob. He used poplar, almond, and a stripe, they called it a stripe wood, but he used that to change the color of the offspring of the livestock. He used these different woods and when the babes were born, he switched them with it, the wood, and they had spots and stripes. And that's where spots and stripes come from in livestock, because Jacob used magical wood. Just saying. All right. Of course, I want to talk a little bit about the history of tea. It goes all the way back to, I think, 2743 AD with the Chinese emperor, and his name was Nung. I'm trying to say this right with a southern accent. But the story goes is that a leaf fell into a cup of hot water. It infused. He drank it, and he realized both the physical well-being that it was bringing, but also the spiritual, magical well-being. And I think from that point forward is when we can say that both the medical and the spiritual attributes of teas, the use of different herbs and plants and infusing them, has been blended. You really can't have a good cup of tea without having some physical nourishment and also having some spiritual nourishment. So the first thing I'm going to tell y'all, set up a pretty little space that you like. I said, this is my self-care moment. Whenever I do this, I have bay rum is what I'm currently really vibing on. Ooh, I love that. Switch some energies out. Start switching your headspace. Put on some good music. Ooh. Oh, yeah. We're changing it. I also have up here Florida water spray. Both of these are from bridgingworldbotanica.com. No, I'm not paid to say these things. I pay the same price you do, and it is a fair price, and she is a great magical practitioner. I would almost dare say I'd pay twice as much for that stuff. All right, next thing I want to talk about is how do we make these beautiful teas? Of course, if we're doing a high tea party, we want to have a pretty little teapot. You also know, if you've seen some of my other videos, I will periodically like to use my loose tea. This is pour water. This has got enough for 2 cups. This is like tea for 2. One of my favorite little pots to sit out with. And another thing I like to use is an old-fashioned French press. Put your herbs in here. All right, let them sit, and then gently bring the plunger down and enjoy your tea. Today, we are going to be using the old school strainer. I love these new ones with a plastic top because it's just really easy for me to put together. Thoroughly enjoy them. When we are doing tea, different teas, they have different infusion times. I would say the average is 5 to 7 minutes. Of course, if you want a lighter tea, infuse less. If you want a more robust, flavorful tea, let it go an extra couple of minutes. All right, witches? All right, y'all know I got notes. And so, of course, I'm sitting here making sure. All right. Okay, we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why we have tea. Of course, we can use tea and divination. Here's the pretty little divination cup I have here. I would drink it. This one's a beautiful where you can either use the cup or the saucer. Both methods are valid. For tea divination, you would be reading the leaves. Let me put this down. All right. Second reason, and this is one of my favorites, is for offerings. All right, where I will make me a cup of tea, and I will also make a nice cup of tea for ancestral spirit realm folk and sit it up on the altar. Okay, and if you have an ancestor, spirit folk, spirit guide who enjoyed a good cup of tea, then make sure you're putting it on their altar. Now, the third way you can use teas is is a tool, a support, and that's what we're doing today, is that my 15 minutes of self-care is a ritual, is a working. I'm using the tea to aid me in this, all right? Does that make sense to y'all? And you can use the teas for other supports. When you're doing psychic dream work, for instance, during ritual, you may drink a cup of mugwort-infused tea to help you with your dreams for later on. All right, and of course, how we just went through that. Yeah, I'm flying through my notes. Oh, I'm doing so good. All right. So first I want to give a little shout out. Let me get my glasses on so I can see what I just said. Yeah, Indigo Punch. This is Harney and Sons Indigo Punch. And Allison, I would like to give a shout out to this bright, beautiful witch. Sent this to me. And I want to say thank you so much. She's been doing so well on her journey. And I really appreciate these little gifts, folks, just their way of saying thank you. All right, I'm putting approximately a good tablespoon, probably 2 tablespoons in there. You saw what I did? All right, I got that already. And let me put my punch right there. Now, of course, y'all are wondering, where's my hot water? Well, witches, give me 1 second. Oh my goodness, tell me that isn't some magic right there. All right, get you some boiling water. we're going to pour it into our cup. Let me set this down here. All right. I have a whole thing of different teacups, but I really like this one when I am doing what I reference as my pretty teas. And I'm going to show you what this pretty tea does in just a minute. But before I do that, I've just poured my tea. Feels like the right time to ring my bell, say my thank yous, my gratitude. Here I've got a little candle of healing and peace that I've been lighting when I come into space these past couple of days. I put me some little stones and trinkets down there that I think are good energies for that. And I want to stop and just give that breath up to divinity. All right? To divinity as I know it. And for me, that is the goddess, the god, the gods and goddesses. It's all of it. I think that we're all connected. And so I want to just stop and say thank you for all that. And as I'm taking that breath in and just pushing out, oof, oh, I can just feel it. Now I'm gonna stir my tea 3 times and let me show y'all my tea. Tell me this just isn't the prettiest blue tea you can get. Oh, I just love watching it. Like I said, that's why I put it in this particular cup. I have a selection. I always tell folks, get your pretty little teacup, get your good old-fashioned plain one, pretty little glass one, so when you do your flower teas, you can appreciate them. Now I'm gonna let this seep for about 4, 5, probably closer to 6 minutes actually. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm a journal, witches. This is the perfect time to open up my journal. And I have a little area here in the back, all right? I actually call it life, by the way, where I have notes, and I'm gonna write down today's date. Always date your entries so that you can follow along in your book, all right? And I'm gonna date my entry. And today's, all right. Now, I'm gonna take a couple of nice deep breaths. This is all internal work. And sit here quietly for a couple of minutes and see what messages come, if any. I might just end up writing down that I did an indigo punch tea and sat in a moment of gratitude. That may be what I write in my journal. Or I may have some epiphany, or I may have some, major moment of thought come into my brain. I'll write that down. But I give myself typically 4 or 5 minutes just to see where I'm going. Remember, 1, 2, and 3. That's right. From a place of gratitude, I give myself these couple of minutes just to enjoy. Be grateful for what I have right now. And that might be something you may want to do is in the moment, write down in your journal, grimoire, BOS, scrapbook, book of me, what you're grateful for right now in this moment. Tea is such a beautiful way for self-care practices to develop for you. When we talk about how do I do self-care, have a cup of tea. All right, this is a beautiful pre-blended. Of course, you can get up into magical teas. There are a plethora of recipes, or you can make your own. If you don't want to do any of that, a simple cup of green tea, little dollop of honey, and this right here is perfect. All right, witches, this is about you doing you. Y'all hear me saying this all the time. Your voice, all right? This is your magic, your recipe, your ritual to create. All right, witches, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I'm gonna sit here for a couple and see what happens. And with that said, go out there, fly those brooms, have a bright, blessed day, and as always, amen, blessed be, ashe, and bobo. I would like to thank Scorpio, Queen of the Occult, for giving me an inspirational message that I would love to share with all of you magic folk out there. You have to have the courage to be okay. Think on that, witch.